Today we're talking about the ethical facets of the psyche. What these do is govern all internal phenomena. So you gotta and for one, this is a fucking idea. Okay? Now, it's gonna get you on the money. Okay? But don't be out here trying to just believe in some shit. You like, you know what I'm saying? Like how y'all be with y'all minds, you know. Just understand it. That's it. So this is you got the ethical facets which govern all internal phenomena. Once you're able to identify the facets that I'm about to name, this will help you organize your mind by detaching from the content within the imagination and your perspective of objects and the survival instincts that are and intertwined with these objects of your imagination and starts to fool your mind, and you have like, that's a lot of bullshit. I'm gonna keep it a bing. There's a lot of bullshit that y'all lost it. So it's just about which way we coming in. Ethics, bitch. So you got the soul, the full completeness of you, the whole 360, the whole circle. You got the ego, the triangle, how you connect 2 points together. Look, listen, the ego is birthed from circumstance, situation, desire, and the introspection from an action, whether you're proud or you're not. So, you know, ego deals with the dichotomy of shame, pride, you know, shit like that. Being proud of yourself. All those qualities correspond to the ego, which is just a facet of the self. So once you understand what the ego is prideful of, shameful of, okay, that is a tool to see the full self. Then you got the mind, the thought and feeling, which is always sprung from the environment. So when we take it internally, it's the influence of that the ego, what the ego got its influence from relative to its environment that gave it that certain expression that has you introspecting it within that certain manner. Whether you're proud, you got a pride from it. You can do something with that. So it's a lot of archetypes you can sit on the ego. How the fuck you think psychology is even created? But the body next is the extension of the mind, which are spaces, influences of thought and feeling. So the environment has to influence thought and feeling. So back to the ego, we're going to use the ego because the ego is like the central point. Whatever the ego is observing and the environment and its perception of it, that gives it, well, with all that shit, that's a thought form that coming with that. You're going to summon a mentality based on how you're acting and the wisdom, because that presupposes a lot of shit. But just to keep it simple, it's just what the ego is just interacting with within its immediate environment. That's the thought. That's a feeling too. Once you feel about it, that's the mind. And also that's the body. So once you transition from that certain space that you planted that seed at, that becomes a thought form, a body, a facet, or an extension of the mind. Then you got the next facet, the intellect, agency, the ability to be flexible within the ego, within logic, reason, and your ability to marry ideas from your concepts or from your belief system, your religion, however y'all using y'all mind nowadays. Okay, so you got to understand that's what you're doing. That's what the ego is, and because we all sit on, the ego is the central point. So we all sit on top of the ego. And nowadays, you ain't like, the mind is already made because you're grown and you're on the internet and shit. You know, you got a life, so you got a whole lot of thought forms and shit. So what you do nowadays is you just summon mentalities based on thought forms, presupposition of the environment, what you know about what's going to happen, the expectations, and the instincts that come with that. Okay? So once you understand the thought form that's within that environment, you can start to manipulate it by catching the instinct, the understanding of, oh, I'm in that thought form from once I introspected it from shit last night or 3 years ago. Oh, this is the moment right here. Then you let go and you let your spirit dance.